File management, big topic. So let's look at some of the best practices on how to manage files. And we're talking in this section about files, folders, cloud storage, and also some best practices on file management. Most of the time that you're working in technology or on a computer, you're going to deal with file management. That is a biggie. And I have used examples like knowing how to organize your clothing in the dresser drawers or your food in the refrigerator, in the pantry, so many areas in the filing cabinet where file management will be key to efficient storage and what have you. Okay. So let's look real quickly. Let's just say that you guys understand the importance of file management as far as productivity and some of the mistakes that are often made. What is a file? A file is simply a document. It can be a photo, it can be a video, it can be a music, spreadsheets, presentations. So let's look at the file types. And probably they're in the order of most popularity, if you will. The DOCX or the doc Word document, the Excel SX, which is spreadsheet, and so on and so on and so on. Some popular images or popular files are photos or images, JPEGs, and PNGs. An MP4 is a video. I tried earlier adding MP3, and for whatever reason, something's up with this document. So you guys can add MP3 is audio. MP4 is video, implies that there is audio most of the time. And those are your file types. We're going to run through this real quickly, and then I'll go through some examples and then explain the homework assignment. A folder, just like a regular folder that you have, those yellow folders that people use to put papers in. If you can consider the folder and the papers inside are the files themselves. In this case, of course, digital container. Folder structure best practices. So we'll look at some of that. Like, for example, you could have a folder called documents. Within that folder, you could have work, personal, and school. The same way you could have different USB drives for each of the different areas there as well. You could have a folder called pictures. Actually, there is one called pictures, and there is one called documents, and there's already a folder called downloads. So they got a head start on you. Some of the naming conventions for files, you want to use clear names. Don't make vague names like stuff or new folder, document one. Don't call a folder one and another one two. And a good file name is like as shown there in red. And the reason you use that underscore instead of a space, it really deals a little more with the web presence. So if you're going to need a separator, don't use a space, use an underscore. And a bad file name is shown there as well. Local storage versus cloud storage. When we get into Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, I may have you store locally. And then I may say, let's upload it to the cloud. So you have it in two places as a backup. Local means that the file is stored on your computer or device and nowhere else. Examples, your hard drive, your USB flash drive, or an external hard drive. Even memory cards. The advantage is that it works without internet. You can get into your software, do some work, and you have no internet access. So working locally is the way it used to be before the internet. Faster access, and it's more private if secured properly. If there's something stored on your USB flash drive, you would assume it's safer than if it's stored on the cloud. But then again, that's where we bring in security precautions or antivirus software or such to help protect files that are in the cloud. The disadvantage, if you lose your USB flash drive, it's gone. If your device or computer crashes at home, it's gone. At least probably gone. Could take it to the computer shop and see if they can restore your limited storage space, and it's harder to access from other devices. So if you're at on vacation and you get on your son, your daughter, your mom's computer, that file that you have on your local computer back at home is not going to get accessed because it's at home. Cloud storage files are stored online, and some of the common cloud storage services, some are free, some are not. Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, Dropbox, and Apple iCloud. There are links to each of these if you would like to check them out. If you go to Google Drive, let me let me hit that here real quick. Look what it does. It takes me directly to my Google Drive, and that's really not mine. Well, I've got different accounts, so I'm going to switch over to my other one. It switches there immediately. And we could try all of these, but you kind of get the idea. I'm going to end up at Google Drive. Remember, you can get to it from that little hamburger, and all of the apps are accessible as long as you find google.com. The advantages of cloud storage, you can get them from anywhere on any computer. All you need is internet access. And I'll just kind of run across these very quickly. The disadvantage of the cloud is it does require internet access, which is not as much of a disadvantage anymore as more and more accessibility is being offered. Limited free storage. You could get all your free storage used up and you end up having to pay some. So I say everything is free, but at some point, uh, they're going to be like, all right, we gave you enough. And of course, security and privacy if you have a weak password. You always have the bad guys out there, so be careful. Saving and finding files. When we start getting to Word and Excel and PowerPoint, we'll need to know where we're going to save these files. Save as. Searching for files is important. We'll look at File Explorer a little bit later, or Finder if you're on a Mac. Downloads and desktop management. You're going to get to a point where you'll be downloading so much it can get cluttered. There is a downloads folder, and sometimes I use it as temporary storage. Then I delete it. Moving files, we're going to use drag and drop a lot here. Try to keep your desktop as clean as possible. And we're very tempted to save everything to the desktop. We should organize with folders. And the assignment will call for that in just a little bit because it's so convenient. Everyone decides, hey, I use the example of groceries. You bring them in from the car and you dump them on the kitchen table and you leave it there. Or you take the clothes out of the dryer and you put them on the bed and that becomes your closet. You want to have better organization or file management. And make sure that you have a good backup plan. The best backup plan I can give you is the cloud and local. You've got two copies of a file, and if you want to go a third, then buy yourself a USB flash drive and put them on there too, or an external hard drive. But you have them right there. They're all listed. Again, use strong passwords if you're in the cloud. Don't just download something because it looks good. Too good to be true, huh? Phishing attachments. Again, someone can throw a file at you and they're fishing for you to tap or to click. And again, Microsoft has their Defender, but sometimes you want to go a little bit safer with what I use Norton. Again, that does cost money. You can get a Norton software package, or or just settle for your Windows updates and file sharing and collaboration. When we meet next time, I'm going to show y'all. You already kind of got an idea on attachments. Attachments, I feel, me personally, may not be around for much longer. You can email attachments, or this is where I think things are going more so, the shareable links, where you can just share a link to a file and it becomes uh, a living file. You can both make changes to it. Once you send an attachment and there's an error in it, it's all of a sudden it becomes like, oh, get it. Let me send it to you again. Let me send you another update, another update. Where when you send a shareable link, it becomes a little more efficient. You can give the person view only, or you can have them be able to edit the file with you. So the assignment is going to call for you to create a folder. I'll show you how to rename a file, how to move a file, upload to cloud storage, download and organize files. The key takeaways: organize files consistently, understand local versus cloud storage, use folders effectively, back up important files regularly, protect files with safe practices. And your materials to use is a computer or laptop. I should say desktop or laptop. Let me see if it lets me do this change. Watch what I'm doing here, y'all. This is a file that is in the cloud that at this very moment was just updated. So if I had shared this link with you already, which we'll do that next, if I had shared this with you, then you would see the change happen right in front of you. If I had sent this to you as an attachment and I made this change right now, your attachment is still the old version. So again, there's pros and cons, but I went ahead and changed it now. We're going to do this next week. Always think about internet safety. So this is, in a nutshell, whatever that means, file management training. Now I'm going to go ahead and move over to, and I'm going to practice or what I preach. And I'm going to go Google. Actually, I'm already at google.com. But if you weren't at google.com, you can do this. And I am logged in already because it shows me right here. I'm in as my ST Lady Cat Nation account. So I want to use my personal account. So right here is this one right there. Amador Ramirez. Now you can see that's the one I'm in. Again, a quick review. You open up this little Google Apps or little hamburger. You can see all of the different apps available to you. I have only touched the tip of the iceberg. Okay. Like Google Docs is the equivalent of Microsoft Word. Google Sheets is the equivalent of Excel. Google Slides is the equivalent of PowerPoint. So these three right here are the equivalents of what we're doing the next 3 weeks. I already gave you the assignment on Google Calendar. I gave you an assignment on Gmail. Okay? So what we're doing now, since this topic is on file management, you're like, well, which one's the file management one? It is Drive.